Yeah, no, but anyway, so the just labels are interesting, you know, and I mean that's gonna come back up in a minute too, as I played a Dragon Ball game for getting to fighting games, so
Oh yeah,
but you know, that is a discussion as well.
is that the game we're really wrong about?
What?
It might be.
Well, okay, I have since updated and my wiki entry for the Tenkaichi series, so
Yeah. So I remember. So the thing that I was wrong about when we talked about a Tenkaichi or Budokai or whatever, Tenkaichi,
Budokai
is that I said
Tenkaichi is actually
is
the
that I said nobody played this with other people. And apparently people did. The real thing, because I the camera didn't work very well in two player.
it's funny you should say that.
But the reason why I said that is because I never wanted to play that game with other people.
Right.
I just wanted to play
Yeah.
the story stuff
Yeah.
and all that.
Um,
But I remember showing you Budokai Tenkaichi 2, the one with the really good cell shading.
okay. Maybe
Uh,
two or three.
decades ago.
Hmm.
And I was showing it off, and you were unimpressed because the actual fighting mechanics were not very in depth.
Hmm.
Um, and I said, "Yeah, but look at all these characters, though."
Yes. Yes.
Which was my actual like. But shut up!
And
Look how many different versions of Vegeta you can play
well, and
as.
I remember being impressed with the cell shading and the way things looked in Budokai Original 1. I remember when I first saw that. Like not even before the Tenkaichi series started, we saw
Mm,
like Budokai 1 had like the like control Piccolo's aim the special beam cannon to shoot through
mhm.
Raditz kind of moment, and I was like, "Whoa, that's cool."
That's
You
crazy.
know? Um and yeah, like I was like, okay, so we have a Dragon Ball fighting game. Now, of course, there was the old like Super 2D ones and stuff that were always there, and those would get you'd go super far away from each other. They'd be Butoden, you know, were the games. You'd be split screen and just tossing balls from a million miles away. It was
Mhm.
its goofy own thing. Um, and then like there was like Hyper Dimension, like that was a pretty crazy Super Nintendo game. That was like it was like a real fighter. Ultimate Battle 22, all these ones, and I would go in there to see like, yeah, what's Dragon Ball fighting games, you know, doing. And so the Budokai series was always like, well, by Budokai 3, yeah, you have every version of every character. Like you pick a Goku and then you just scroll through the list and
Which
go
Goku do
nuts.
you want?
Hmm. All of
What's
them,
your favorite Goku?
right? And that was the main appeal, is just that like everyone is here. And then there was also like, yeah, they'd stack these mechanics on mechanics where like, you know, you'd go into like basically like the wager system in like uh Injustice.
CVS? Oh,
Injustice.
Injustice. Okay.
But then like if you wagered like the wrong or the right thing, then it could go to a second kind of fight sequence, and you'd basically just start QTE programming of Dragon Ball Fight, which, you know, if you're in that era of like, hey, I like my CyberConnect 22, just like fancy pretty shit happening, and it's like it looks really cool, it looks Dragon Ball, but you're
Hmm.
you're you're not playing as much, it's just going into an FMV at that point. um you know, I was like, okay, well, as long as it feels Dragon Ball enough, I suppose. But you know, it was always like it's an anime fighter over here doing its thing. um
This is just 3D Neuro Ultimate Hero.
yeah, which was bad Smash with cool cutscenes.
Dude,
Anyway,
Ultimate Hero is like the largest delta between I want to see it and I want to play it.
so when Tenkaichi came out, and it was like you lose track of the enemy, and then your camera is just panning around looking for them for like a whole bunch of the fight, I was like, this feels bad, and I just like it was mechanically
Hmm.
rough. And then yeah, they added stuff, and they did speed a lot of that up over the years. I kind of wasn't paying attention to much of where it ended, but similar to how Ultimate Hero ended up at Ultimate Ninja Storm, right? Like those
Hmm.
games, basically, they kind of went like, all right, what if we didn't do Smash and we just put it in 3D arena fighter things, and then when you hit the supers, they still do the big fancy shit. So that's always
Yeah,
fun.
and Neuro Ultimate, Ultimate Ninja Storm or whatever the fuck it's called has become
The
the
default,
template for your
yes,
anime fighter.
and
And like I think for that thing, it actually works really well
yeah,
for that format.
well, because before that point, the Tomy games, the Great Ninja Clash, uh,
Mhm.
were better mechanically, but like they didn't have as fancy, pretty supers to look at, and so now you kind of bring the two together and you get this, So with the Budokai Tenkaichi series, over the years they mechanically sped things up, they added more, and then the main thing, the take home, is that there is a massive single player suite of things to appreciate and enjoy as a Dragon Ball fan.
You don't have to fight other people for.
No.
And run into the game's extreme mechanical problems.
And so here, Sparking Zero is the latest in this franchise, and what you're getting, it's a little bit of that, like, hey, we're not making All-Star Battle is not a fighting game, it's a JoJo game, is what the developer said at the time.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of like this, where you're like, the Sparking Zero has shit going on single player wise that I could only dream that like a game like Dragon Ball FighterZ would have. It's
there is
really good at that.
There is some crazy shit. Have you seen the first person shit?
Which aspect?
There is a function in Sparking Zero to watch cutscenes from the first person perspective of characters inside them.
Okay. Yeah, no, not even. That's great. One of my favorite things in the best Dragon Ball piece of media I've ever seen was the first person mode in the Super Broly movie. So that shit is, if it's a fraction of how cool that was, that's awesome. Yeah, the overall experience of like the main menu is Goku teleporting around, visiting all his friends and hanging out and stuff, and then going to all these places. And then what you're doing as you go through the episodes, which are, picking a character and then flashing through their chapters in the canon timeline. And then there's like the what if chapters, which are, kind of wild and stuff. And then you have your online bracket. You can just do a tournament, like a full on online or offline bracket, and have the 8 people or so. All these little moments and stuff you can do lead to a bunch of secret unlocks and bits where you get like Dragon Balls. And then when you put enough Dragon Balls together, you summon Shenron, make a wish, and you can wish for money to buy characters. You can wish for whatever, a bunch of shit, to like speed up the progress of unlocking the billion things there are to unlock in the game, because there's every character with every possible costume.
Hey, I heard you like unlocking characters in your single player mode in a fighting game. Well, guess what?
Yes.
This fucking game has the most characters ever.
If you are reposting that meme where you're like, man, back to the good old days of playing the game to unlock it, fuck the buying your character pass shit, which admittedly is pretty fucking dumb, then yeah, you're gonna love this. It's a nightmare if you ever had to sit and do it tournament wise, but that's not gonna happen because that's not what the game is for.
It's not gonna happen. While we were talking, I looked at some videos of competitive Dragon Ball Zero Sparking gameplay, and I'm excited to try out that first person mode in the story.
When I grabbed this and I saw it said, split screen local co-op on it, I was like, that's awesome, great. The others had it going on PlayStation from it's a series that always had it, so that makes sense. Let's get in there, and you fucking boot it up and it's like, hey, split screen local co-op, plug in your controller, you can only fight in the hyperbolic time chamber. You cannot access any other levels because the Xbox Series S apparently needs only that, and so that was that was a limiting factor on it. And it's like, to be in a time where sitting on the couch playing local is the afterthought of a feature that, to be honest, at some point probably was not even in the game, and then someone went, well, we should probably put split screen in, and they went, all right, here, training room, don't even pick your, there's no like assign your controller left or right type moment. It's still just like a picking the CPU, but then the player 2 takes over, and on all menus that player 2 has like that control and stuff. So it's kind of like, it really is just like, oh, you duplicated the player 1 input and now you split it up for this mode. There's no like screen pick a controller side moment or whatever. It's the most afterthought feature. It's Devil May Cry 3 take control of the doppelganger or Virgil when you plug in the controller type shit,
Can I sidetrack us for just a second? So when you said the Xbox Series S, I had a couple of thoughts. The first of which is like, we have now, because of Microsoft, gone through 2 console generations that have been defined by, well, Microsoft didn't ship the thing with the thing, so we got to kneecap these games on like 10 different fucking platforms because of this shit, because the Xbox 360 didn't have to have a hard drive, and the Xbox Series S is like significantly underpowered, though technically compatible with the modern games. And it's like, this sucks really bad. But also, you know what I also thought, Wooly? I'm sitting here trying to formulate that thought, and I had to pull up the Xbox Wikipedia page because Xbox has fucked up their naming shit so bad.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't remember
which one I
if
was
the
talking
fucking
about.
Xbox next to me is an Xbox One or not. Because I forgot that the Series X and X is a new one just called Xbox.
Yes.
That's the official name of this.
It is
just Xbox.
Yes, not the, so you're thinking of, for a second, you're thinking of the Xbox and then the Xbox One and then the Xbox One X and then the Xbox One S. However, we have moved to it's the Series S.
So we have gone in order from the Xbox to the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One to the Xbox. Like, officially, this thing has the same name as the Xbox original. It just has a little subtitle that says Series X.
I mean, when we all laughed at the idea of like why we called it the 360 because it was a bigger number than 2.
Because you do a 360 and then walk away.
And that philosophy has continued across the entire naming of all of their consoles.
Yeah, every single one is like a gimmick name, that makes it super confusing.
But there's a part of me that kind of thinks that they almost probably want to lean in, because the thought process at some point, it's so bad that it must be, yeah, it's the latest one on the shelf. Go to the store and get the one that you see there.
iPhone.
Don't stop to think about getting a different version. Get the one that's the latest one that the kids want.
But here's the thing. When you walk into a store and say, I would like the new iPhone, they just bring you the newest iPhone. And the only difference between the newest iPhone and an older iPhone is that it is newer and better and yada and yada, and maybe has different cable. Whatever.
Well, they'll go, what size do you want the storage to be,
sure,
or whatever.
But when I go into a store and say, I would like an Xbox, and they all play different games... They all play different games.
And I imagine that employee, or at least what Microsoft wants that employee to say is, yeah, here's the most expensive Series X top of the line one.
But when I walk in and say, I would like to buy an Xbox that plays Xbox One games.
Yes, well, and then...
What the fuck did they hand me based off of what I said?
And then the thing you bring home doesn't work with the green boxes that your kid already has. Yes, exactly. Of course.
When I say Xbox One games, I mean Xbox games that came out in 2005, 2006, 2007 on the original Xbox.
Rome, Rise of Rome, or
no, I mean like Full Metal Wolf Chaos.
Oh, Xbox. Yes. Original.
Because Xbox One was called Xbox One the whole time of the 360.
I think the confusion powers them. I think they get off. I think they're porking up real hard right now, just knowing about the confusion.
Like we have, like, you know what? I'm gonna apologize to Nintendo. I went in on Nintendo, maybe the hardest I've ever gone on any naming thing, about the new Nintendo 3DS. Which I genuinely still think is the worst overall name ever, because they did release a 3DS after that. That was a different kind of new Nintendo 3DS. But that was singularly confusing for that one SKU, which then got chopped off. The Xbox thing is just getting worse and worse. You know what I think they're gonna fucking call it? I think they're going to call the next one like the Xbox Series L or something, and just it'll pretend that it's like a different fucking box. Sorry, that it's the same thing, but it's a different thing.
I mean, I think the last word on it is simply that what do people call it on the streets? And people say PS4, people say PS5, people say Switch, and people say Xbox. No matter where, no matter when, no matter what generation, people just say, yeah, it's on Xbox.
You got that Xbox.
There's no like the marketing angle of it just is eliminated, and we all just go, it's Xbox. And because
like
who's gonna sit and try to figure out what the fuck they mean?
PlayStation's gonna announce a new console in like 3 years or something, and we're all gonna sit around and pretend like we don't know what it's gonna be called.
Yeah. No, so I mean, there once upon a time we used to say the Nintendo, right? And like that those days are gone, admittedly, but this is essentially what Microsoft probably wants. So now all this is an aside from the fact that it is also the lowest common denominator holding down what is possible. However,
to the point where when it goes in the other direction, like Larian got special considerations for the Series S for Baldur's Gate, because that was holding up the Xbox release of that game for months. Because they were like, split screen has to work exactly the same on all of them, and Larian was like, it's not going to. It won't. It's not going to be good.
So I saw in this conversation, though, confirmation from folks here that yes, when they announced Sparking Zero, there was no local couch play, and they added it after people complained about it being missing. So you feel it feels like the most afterthought thing, and that is that not the ultimate microcosm of like the statement on the game as a whole in a way, right?
Why would you want to play against the local? What? Why would you?
Who the fuck?
Who cares?
I am getting online and I'm going fucking Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan.
No. Hold on. You're going online to encounter the most plugger society that there ever has been.
Oh, by all means. I mean, and you have an entire 10 seconds, or if not 15, to do it, because
I can't believe these motherfuckers beating me up with Yajirobe. I'm out of here.
That final Shenron punch is taking a minute, you know. But here we go, right? Let's go back around now. When Dragon Ball FighterZ was announcing its characters, who was I #1 most requesting from the jump? Yajirobe.
Yeah.
The whole time. I'm like, let's go original Dragon Ball. Let's go goofy characters. Let him cut your fucking tail off as his ultimate. And not only is Yajirobe here, he's busted because he Senzu beans his ass and stalls out the fights. Yajirobe really the god.
It's really, really funny because when we were in the lead up to Dragon Ball FighterZ, the overwhelming thing was like, wow, this looks great. I can't wait to play it. What's up with this roster, though? Oh, my God. We need like 400 more characters. I mean, Budokai Tenkaichi had it. And it's like, but we want to actually be able to play this game against other people. So having these characters work good is important. But what's strange is that, like, it really says a lot about the crux between Dragon Ball fans and fighting game fans and which one there is more of, because people are happy to play with their dolls in Sparking Zero.
Oh yeah.
And like that's what that game is fucking for.
Yeah.
And when I buy it and play it, it's going to be to play with my fucking Goku dolls.
It's great. Yeah. It is excellent at just enjoying your Dragon Ball 3D toy collection. It's really, really good at that. And it's like and the fact that it's like now you're coming back at it from this post-Super thing, and Daima just launched the new Dragon Ball series as well, so that's going to be coming into it as well. It really is just a great little place to play with your toys and like you can pick Janemba and then turn into the red version with the sword, and
that's my favorite character. Yeah. So yes, I'm going to do that.
You know, it's all there.
That's my favorite Dragon Ball movie.
And then it's like, what's happening mechanically? And it's like, well, there are a lot of mechanics because over the years they've added more and more and more to them. So like you can absolutely do these things where it's like, okay, there's a basic combo, then there's a launcher, and then you can do follow-ups and chasers, and you know, you can not just block or not just counter, but you can also do, you know, instant transmissions, and like there's a lot of ways to do kind of like the same thing, but over the course of this franchise, they've just stacked up these different mechanics that were brand new at the time of the original game. and they're all here together, you know. And going through the advanced tutorials and stuff was quite interesting to see like what movement and all these other things kind of turn into. But yeah, no, it really is. It's like no matter what all that is like, it's like at the end of the day, you just want to watch that awesome cutscene play out, and Ultra Instinct is gonna teleport behind you and put the hand out, and then you're gonna get all blown up, and it's gonna look awesome, and his hair is gonna glow, and you're gonna be like, yeah.
That was somebody putting it up on social media. It was like, hey, how the fuck do I beat Goku as Jiren in the story mode? And he posts a clip of like Goku and Ultra Instinct just dodging like literally every single attack that he goes. And I'm like, man, that seems like it would suck shit for a fighting game. But I'm looking at that going, oh, he's Ultra Instinct. You can't even hit him.
And you know, and then you've got the mission where you've got to fight Great Ape Vegeta, who's in Uzaru form, and he's just stomping his ass all over you, and like you pretty much have to learn the one thing about like one of the most busted things about the games ultimately, where you just like, okay, you got to sit there, charge, and then go into your like sparking form, and then just mash X for your life. Just literally just do the infinite combo, because
hey, guess what, man?
You know,
that's probably the hardest fight Goku ever fought.
It's completely unfair, right? But like
it is. That fight is insanely unfair for real.
And they're and like
in the manga.
And they're like on the official Twitter, they're just like, you know, select an easier difficulty and continue. Lol, ha, rah, you know. But like the get good moment, right? Of if you're kind of like, you know, try to get past it or so, is stand there, hold your charge button, right, for as long as it takes till it maxes out, then teleport behind them and just mash attack.
Hell yeah.
And that's the get good.
That's Dragon Ball. Yeah. That's canon.
Yes. So these products, you know, they exist for good reason, and they sell well for good reason, and killing it, right? More people on that shit than any other fucking thing on the Steam list for a while there. And I really do, I want to come back to it, but it's just like, I feel like that aspect of, because when I wanted to pop it in and play, I was like, yeah, let me go and kind of unlock as many as I can in this short period of time, just to have people to jump around, because that's the whole game, right? If we don't have characters to select them, what the fuck are we doing? And the doing missions to get Shenron balls to wish for the thing is that's a fun bit to put into your progression bits, you know, and it feels like while you're not playing, while you're doing all these little extra things around the menus, like you're getting a very just Dragon Ball museum experience. It's a Dragon Ball museum. That's what it is. It is.
You like Dragon Ball?
It is a 3D Dragon Ball museum, and it's you know, and that's great. And then they're like, hey, I guess what's like, yeah, here's your season pass, another like 100 characters or whatever is going to come at some point. Get the early unlocks for this and that. Yeah, there's everybody. It's an infinite thing, whatever. But just okay, like let's actually start playing. Oh, man.
No, when you say playing, you mean the solo, or do you mean against each other?
Yeah, just against each other and stuff.
Why would you ruin it like that?
Well, it's, you know.
Why would you? That's not what it's for.
Well, I spent money. I just wanted to, you know. You got to crash your G.I. Joes into people eventually, right?
Yeah, but this is like, hey, I bought a G.I. Joe and it looks to be about the right size. I guess I could use it as a hammer to put nails in my wall.
You know, when I did go to my friend's house as a kid and I had my toys and he had his, and we played, it was not as fun because he was not playing the same way I was playing with my toys, because he had like weird ways of I think I talked about him a while ago, but he would put like a big he'd put tape on like Venom's hand and then attach like an axe from Conan to it, and then he'd take like, you know, like a transformer.
That's cool as shit.
And he'd take a transformer and then he'd wrap like tape all around its limbs, and then it would just have like these extra limbs with like missiles at the tip, and it would just be like a tape toy. And it was just like, but I want a Spider-Man and Hulk right now. Like, what the fuck is this missile transformer axe Venom?
An adult. I'm an adult, and I look down at that, and I say that kid was cool as fuck. However, as a person who remembers being a child, that's what's known as playing it wrong. What you're supposed to do, Wooly, what you're supposed to do is you are supposed to go there and you are supposed to tell him, listen, you get these toys, and you list out the toys that he will get, and then he will place them where you tell him to place them, and then you will act out the scenario, and it is his job to read your mind and act out the scenario the way you want him to. Otherwise, he's playing wrong.
Well, when I played with my brother when we were growing up, he got it, you know? He would get his Leonardo out, I would get my Donatello, and then they'd fight. And then, you know, we'd have a Ninja Turtle battle, and then we'd switch over, and then it was like, okay, he has his Galvatron, you know, and I'd get you know, whatever, my Optimus or something, and we'd do it, and then, you know, anyway, and then over here, Exo Squad battle, and I'm gonna shoot that missile, and it's gonna hit you in the eye, and it's gonna be fucking rad, you know. But like, it was just anyway.
And it's like, you know, who can read your mind about the right way to play with your Dragon Ball dolls, Wooly? Sparking Zero. Sparking Zero knows how to what the right way to play with your Dragon Ball dolls
getting
is.
in the way of my fun.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm unplugging the Ethernet because you're ruining my fun. I'm unplugging. Yeah. No, the shit got wild because the other bit was a bunch of his toys were broken, and so like he would like put the tape to like stretch, like if the arm broke off, he'd put the tape and like have the arm attached to that, or like the torso had tape in the middle, because it was all the tape, like Venom with the tape in the axe. Okay, Venom can do that, but now it's like everyone has that. Like everything is tape when it's broken, and if you're playing too hard and you break your shit, that's already like, yo, I don't know if I want to give you my shit, because what if you break mine?
I never got along playing with my brother and sister for this exact reason. I had a really strong, let's call it a disagreement,
sure,
between me and my siblings. What is the toy that all kids love at every age? It's Lego. Of course it's Lego. You build the little thing. And I would just I would look at the box, and then I would get the instructions out, and I would build it. It would be a perfect little spaceship, or it'd be a perfect little castle, or it'd be a perfect little thing. And invariably, and I mean invariably, like literally 100 out of 100 times, my older brother or older sister would come along after it was done and perfect and good and nice to play with, and go, oh, cool, look at this weird part, and dismantle it to cannibalize my perfect creations into fucking the giant cardboard box that all of the Legos went into, and then just create new things that were wrong.
Okay, and
they were wrong. They didn't have an instruction. They were just whatever thing they wanted to build with their mind.
Yeah. No, Lego was 100% creativity, bro. Lego was Chaos World. Lego, you build whatever the fuck. You just go. You do the instructions once, and then admire it for maybe a day, show your mom, and then it's just parts for the cool shit. The robots and the vehicles and the cities and whatever the fuck we're building, and that's all.
They were playing it wrong.
My Lego was the Lego trunk. It was a suitcase, and all the pieces were together, and you would just they'd mix up, and you'd have all of it come together for cool shit. And there was like color coordination was barely a thought, because mainly it was like, okay, but look at the fucking hinge limb though. You know, and that part goes extra fucking cool if it can like bend twice back over.
Hey man, I'm just saying that Lord Business from the Lego movie is the hero of that film.
Oh, fuck
That's what I'm saying to you all.
Oh man, nah, dude. Legos chaos rules, dude. That was great.
I remember I got in trouble because, you know what? Let's put this out into the ether. So I'm 5 years old, and I had a bunch of Legos that were built up, and they were done, and they were completed. It was like a castle, and it was like a spaceship, and I forget someone else, right? And then I came home from something, and my brother and sister had been playing Legos, and they had cannibalized every single thing that I had built into this gigantic mega castle.
Uh-huh.
And then when I couldn't find the things that I had made, and was pointed out that it had been cannibalized in the gigantic mega castle, I, being 5 years old, went and like just kicked through it and just knocked that shit over. Because
God damn it.
And I got in trouble.
Yeah.
They destroyed my Legos, but I can't destroy their Legos?
Well,
this is bullshit. I'm still mad.
Well, first of all, lashing out like that is just not acceptable. That's not how we express ourselves. We don't kick things and destroy them when we're upset.
Don't you fucking gentle parent me.
Okay. And, you know, and second, that castle of everything all together probably was rad as fuck. Yeah. Listen, some people like Will Ferrell, like why? So then why not just super glue them once you're done as you build them? Why?
Because my dad didn't let me have the super glue because Dad was not to be trusted with the super glue because Dad would super glue himself to things.
So you would have super glued your Lego creations.
If I had the ability, I absolutely would have.
Oh my god, dude. That's fuck that. Oh man, nah. Anyways, all this to say that you jump online.
Guy Tenkaichi Sparking Zero, whatever it's called, is the super glue for your Dragon Ball dolls.
And you know what? When my brother and I did play with Lego, we had our own nomenclature. We would be like, yo, do you have a flat 4 dotted? No, but I got a pushed up 6 dotted. All right.
Well, yeah, because you're living in the same house. You're on the same page.
Yeah, and so it would be generally like cooperative. And if it was like, yo, I need that part, and it's like, nah, but I need it, then like we'd have to find a way to, you know, figure out who would get it. And that usually involved fighting.
I was about to say, did you just fight for it?
Oh yeah,
that seems like what brothers would
do.
No,
1,000,000%. Like we were rolling around and you know, like basically.
No, it's mine.
Yeah, so like a brother fight is like, you're going at it, but no face shots, right? So body.
You know, I've never had any of those.
Oh yeah, okay. I've had.
My brother was too much older. He was 4 years older than me, which means any of those would have just stomp me out.
My brother is 3 years older than me, and I didn't fucking back down. I lost every one of those fights.
Maybe you should have. Maybe you should have realized your fucking shots.
I lost every single one of those fights. I got lit up, but I rushed nonetheless, and we just.
Like,
and it was,
like,
and further,
tell me you got one, man.
I mean. If my cousin teamed up, you know, and if it went, because I had older cousins.
Not fucking fair.
No, certainly not. You know, but that shit was like fucking, yeah, in the 1v1s, what the fuck am I supposed to do? You know? I got stomped out every goddamn time. It sucked. But hey.
Damn.
And then he got the piece he wanted. You know, but that's the way it fucking was. Whatever. Eldest gets to do what they want. Second follows.
Yeah, so I learned that physically accosting my brother was not going to work because he was so much bigger and stronger than me. But then when we got a little older, I discovered that telling mom and dad that he's smoking weed in the garage again was way more effective as a threat.
Okay. Yeah, you see, we were too church basement for that. We, you know,
yeah,
no real hidden crimes like that to expose. At the same time, though, like, I mean, if you got into a nice, like, there are times where you get into a nice, like, sitting position where I'm like, oh, well, now I'm sitting on your back and there's nothing you can do. So you have to go like, okay, stop, fine. Right?
Yeah. And
then you let off and then it's like, and then it's back on and it's like, oh, you fucker, right? You gave up, but then you didn't give up, you know? Anyways, and the problem, of course, is that, yeah, only one person could get the piece in the end. So playing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero with other people, fuck that. They ruin it.
You know what? I don't know if you were intending to do so, but you actually just made like an incredible, perfect analogy for it. Because that one piece that only one person can have is the good camera spot. Is that spot with the good camera where you're in the foreground.
Well, if you're playing double split screen, you both have that on your respective sides because it's not the It's
Oh, I'm talking about the old one.
Oh, the old one
it was just straight up Zone of the Enders.
Zone of the
like,
Enders
just
camera.
someone's in the back.
Okay. Yeah, that's horseshit. That's complete horseshit.
Fight for the camera, loser.
That's insane. Anyway, and I would say the other bit too, and this also leads into it, is like flying around and having your character kind of in third person also felt more like video game playing as Goku than like side view,
absolutely,
fighting game rules being put on these characters type of thing.
Hell yeah, I just saw on Twitter cannibalizing someone else's Lego is fucked up. Thanks, buddy. It is. Don't cannibalize your siblings' Legos.
I mean, don't steal it from their shit. Like, talk about it. If you built a thing and then I came back and I just fucking took it apart, that sucks. That does suck. Absolutely. Kicking over the castle is crazy too, though.
Hey, listen. I just want to say that that Arthur was totally right to punch his sister in the fucking face. DW
Did he
is
punch
a
DW?
stupid little brat.
He punched DW?
Oh, you don't know this?
What happened?
Okay, so this is the best episode of Arthur ever. So Arthur is building is it a toy plane? It's a toy plane. And it's like a model. It's not a toy, it's a model. And he spends a lot of time building it, and he built it, and it's gorgeous. And he looks at DW and he says, "Don't go into my room, and also don't touch it. Do not touch that." So DW goes into his room, picks up the model airplane, and throws it out the window.
Oh my god.
And it just smashes to bits on the ground. Okay.
Oh shit.
So he meets her outside and just starts screaming, "I told you not to touch it."
Yeah.
And she says to him, "You didn't even build it right. It won't even fly." and he just like,
that's where that comes from. Okay.
Goes, "I told you not to touch it."
Right.
Kind of cut away, but it's very obvious. Like, he rocks her.
Yeah. No, Galactica Phantom. Just
and then like his parents get him in trouble. Sorry, his parents punish him because you can't beat up your little sister. But like, sometimes siblings just do like insane, outrageous shit that just like, violence is inevitable. It's unavoidable.
Oh my god, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay. I understood. That's wild.
Like, you'll never feel the urge to hit anyone in your life like the person you have lived with from the day they were born, and you're like right next to each other in age. Just
I don't know if you've ever had the like pool noodle fight or like pillow fight.
I've had the pool noodle fight get out of hand,
where the hit is a little too real.
if the noodle's long enough and you get the
and
right
you hit,
leverage,
and it's like, oh, the fun has stopped, and now I'm fucking beating you with a weapon. This pillow is now a weapon, and like all the stuffing has dropped to the bottom and like gotten hardened. It's gotten dense, and I've tied it, and I'm holding on to it, and it's all cloth up here, and this part is just all stuffing, and we're going in. You've turned a pillow into a mace, is what happens, because you get your bell rung when they swing it a little bit too hard, and you're like, what the fuck? I thought we were playing. Oh, it's real now, is it? Okay, here we go. Yeah.
Man, this just makes me think of, because like, the boy's gonna grow up, right? And one of the conversations that me and Paige had when we were watching the McMahon documentary, it's like, do you think this will be one of those boys that likes wrestling? Because wrestling with kids, oh, that's a good time. But then I remember the kids from my high school that couldn't watch wrestling. I'm sure you remember them, because if they watched wrestling, they'd watch Monday Night Raw, and then they would come in on Tuesday, and it would be a fucking countdown to first period by the time they got into a fight.
Yep.
Like, the energy in them was, they could not maintain it, and they would have to fight somebody
1,000,000%.
within like half an hour arriving at school.
Yes. Yeah. No. Too activated. So obviously the like little brother mode means I got really good at like selling the moves and taking them, and he sucked at
Selling is so important for the children.
yeah
If the children are play wrestling and none of them know how to sell,
yeah
then the aggro children are going to just escalate it and escalate it and escalate it until they see someone sell, but they're not selling. You actually just dropped Jimmy on his head. Jimmy's dead now. Because Jimmy wouldn't sell.
That's it. And I think part of it probably was also it's a lot harder to sell a choke slam when you're shorter than the person, admittedly. You know, that or like the knee to the stomach bend over and then set up the DDT or so. But I got really good at selling, and that was basically my job. But I'd say, but like then you know, and then you get good at like your drop kicks and your spears and all those things. You figure out what works and what doesn't. But there absolutely was like that kid that was in French class who like tried to do a play stunner, and that's not a move you can fuck around with if you don't know how to do it, man.
I had a friend of mine that we'd just hang. It was in grade 6 and 7. I'd go over his house and we'd play video games, right? And I could not go to his house. Sorry, I chose to never go to his house on a Tuesday or a Friday, because those were the days after Raw and SmackDown would air. And what would happen is I would go over there in like the late afternoon, early evening, and like have dinner with the family or whatever. Like I went over there fairly regularly, and the kids, his younger brothers, who were like 7 and 9, I think, they couldn't stay up to watch Raw and SmackDown. They had to watch it on VHS. So they would get home from school and immediately watch it, like the instant they came in the door.
Oh, okay.
And
I caught it live. Yeah,
I didn't want to be there when his little brothers watched that shit, because I was like dead certain that I would get killed or like witness a murder or whatever. These kids they would go feral every single time they watched wrestling. They would go crazy. And the mom and dad were never able to calm them down, but also let them watch wrestling twice a week.
Like, no.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. The kids that didn't get it, that didn't understand that part of it, the cell bit and so on, that's a problem. Obviously, there's literally been cases of kids that died, and they had to have like The Rock on, you know, the stand explaining how wrestling moves work. You know, because like, that's
like, you can't do these wrestling moves at home if you're not a good worker.
If you don't know how,
you need to know how to sell, and you need to know the difference between a work and a shoot.
Therefore,
if you're doing shoot wrestling at home and you're a child, you don't know what you're doing.
Brock Lesnar is a danger to the children. Ahmed Johnson is a danger to the children because they don't know how to sell.
Ahmed Johnson is a danger to everyone on the roster when he was working.
Working stiff puts the kids in danger. God damn it.
Listen, I don't want any 8-year-old giving each other potatoes out here, okay?
God.
That'll bring down too much heat.
Yo, playground botchamania? Come on. All right. Anyway. So yeah, that's the problem, but that's what's good about Sparking Zero. That's nailed it.
It's not fake. It's predetermined.
I mean, that point where you legally have to sidestep to call it anything.
No. Sparking Zero isn't fake. It's predetermined.
Yes. Right.
You know Goku's gonna win, man.
And then, well, the other part of it too is kind of going like, yo, who the fuck is that? Is that what the fuck? Is that some super shit? And it's like, nah, that's from that one movie. And you're like, oh god,
didn't see.
Wait,
like there's a dude on that roster that I only recognize because I saw him in a Creed AMV.
Yeah.
The What If Creed music video to the fucking Bardock or whatever his fucking, I don't know who that guy is.
Well, Bardock is Goku's dad, so yes, you would know
not
him.
The other
You're thinking
one.
of Turtles. You're probably
I'm
evil
Goku.
Goku.
Who's got I'm thinking of the guy with orange hair and he's green. Bojack. I'm thinking of
Bojack. Okay. Right. Because yeah, like there's evil Goku, right? From and it's just like Turles is there. You're like, what? Wait, which movie was that?
That's the fucking fruit of the tree of might.
Tree of might, tree of magic, and might and magic. Yeah. No, yeah, that's always just the wildest, man. Like, Super is crazy. They're nuts. It's like that was from the Janemba second fucking.
Yo, listen, man. Like, this is the difference between Sparking Zero and that Hunter x Hunter game. If you're looking at your roster and you go, man, who the fuck is this loser? If that's complimentary or derogative depends on if your fucking roster is 3 digits.
Right. Yes. You know what?
If you have a double-digit roster that's under 51 and you go, who the fuck is this? Boo. If it's 52 and up, who the fuck is that? Sansan? What? Oh, I don't know. Whatever.
They wasted a slot on Baby D is not a thing you say when there's 187 other choices. Yeah.
Hidurigarn? I don't know who the fuck that is. But I got my 25 Gokus.
Azila? Like
I literally don't even
like
know.
It's like a Frieza colored thing with like the extra tentacles sticking out. Anyway.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
But I'll tell you what, man. What you pop off at is when you see like, hey, look, there's a Yamcha outfit, and it's the original Dragon Ball Yamcha outfit.
Hey,
you've got your barefoot Goku, and you've got your like Yajirobe and shit like that.
Oh yeah, the man. Goku got his legs fucked up.
That's always fun. Your what the fuck, Jackie Chun. Anyways, so yeah, there was some Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Getting to Fighting Game is going to drop for that a little later this week.